Hey dudes, Marty from Needlebutt Farms, and today we're just doing a normal inspection. All the weird weather is done. The last time I did an inspection, the only weird thing I had to do was combine these two hives. So today everything should be totally integrated, nothing should be robbed, there shouldn't be any pests, but we're gonna go ahead, check for pests, check for swarm cells. If we need to, we can break this down. What I would like to see today is me being able to put a queen excluder on here, which is a piece of plastic. Looks like this. And it's thin enough where your worker bees can get through, or it's open enough where your worker bees can get through, but it's too thin for the queen to get through. So you would put it right here, and your worker bees will go ahead and fill everything above it with honey, and everything under it will let the queens work with. But since this has two deep boxes in it, I probably won't get a whole lot of honey this year. I might get one super full of honey, but this wasn't really the ideal scenario that I wanted to go with, but it's what we're working with. So let's jump in here and we'll see how it's going. Do it in just a second. My smoker already died. There we go. Hey ladies, how's it going? Good to see you again. I haven't seen you in about a week and a half now. Alright, so yeah, it's looking pretty thick with honey, but that's okay because this was the hive that was queenless. See some drones up top, so overall good first impression. See some drones up here. It looks like everything is full of honey. I don't see any pests initially. There were none on the top board, so it's pretty good. Just gonna do a normal inspection today, first one of the year. All right, there we go. So we got some caproot up top. Love that. That means they ate and moved some of the honey around, which means the queen was able to get up top and use this frame. Good. Because I was kind of afraid this one was just going to be full of honey for a couple weeks, but we're able to make it work. There is a whole brick of honey in this one. Ooh, that one is full of brood. Love that. Good job, ladies. Good job. We saw the new Beyonce last week, so feeling real good about that. Got a swarm cell, a couple swarm cells up top. Get out of there. What are you doing? Good, they're not doing anything. I just need to make sure there's no last second eggs or anything being put in there this year. They shouldn't swarm again, but the weather's been kind of unusual, so who knows what nature wants them to do, you know? And this one, they've already got quite a bit of brood up top, which is good. Like cap brood up top, which is good. So there is a possibility that these guys might try swarm again, which I would love that, because I can duplicate my bees again. But I'm not gonna force anything. I'm not gonna do a split. I'm just gonna let the bees do kind of whatever the bees are doing. And if they decide they want to split again, then I'm gonna split them. But overall, that is a great frame. Look at that. That's what you want to see. It's a good frame. I haven't seen any pests. I'm kind of looking. So what I'm looking for is varroa mites. I'll throw a picture in there. You can kind of see them, but you got to look pretty close. That's the only thing I'm really worried about, that I wouldn't see immediately. You know, you gotta look close and see if you see anything. And I haven't seen anything on any of these bees. They're like a little mite. It's a little tick that hangs out on their back, on the thorax, if you will, of your bees, in between the wings or just somewhere around there. It's not super precise, but it's on the thorax and it'll be there, but normally it's right in between the wings. So I'm just looking. I don't see anything like that. Ooh, this one's heavy. This one's all honey. Ooh, yeah, it is. I'm dripping honey all over the place. Ooh. Sorry, ladies, that's why we don't build like that. Well, the bees are gonna hate that, but you know, it is what it is. It's be like that sometimes. I can't. I'm just gonna make a mess. No matter how that works out, it's gonna be a messy frames. We're gonna put it back in there. They'll probably cap that one up. It's interesting, it's right in the middle like that, but you know, I don't mind it. They can lay out their hive however they want. Ooh, almost lost it. Gotta be quicker than that. And this one's an ugly frame because it's next to that really drawn out honey. And I've seen a couple dead bees in here, which is kind of weird. I don't like that. They don't look sick. They're not acting sick. I think I'm just kind of crushing some of them because the hives aren't super uniform. And that is unfortunate, but sometimes it just works like that. Gave myself a free varroa mite treatment on this one though, because what the bees will do, like they don't really notice the varroa mite infestations. They have to start grooming themselves to start fixing it. Because I got honey all over that frame. Ooh, get out of here, needles. Because I just got honey all over that frame. All those bees were cleaning themselves, but I don't see any varroa mites. This is going to be a good hive this year. It's just easy. Oh boy, here's another heavy one. So for those of you that don't really mess with bees too much, if you get a big heavy thing like this with honey, this sucker, whew, this weighs probably 6 pounds. It's kind of heavy to pick up away from yourself like that. Yeah, you got good good nectar on one side here. This is why you got to check all of them. It's a swarm cell right in the middle of that one on just a honeycomb, which is a weird place to put it, but it's an emergency. It's an emergency, so. Ooh, I got a hole in my suit somewhere, so I got one on my face. I'll be right back. Not stinging me, I just don't like to in my mask. Also don't know how she got in there, so gotta check myself real quick. Pants are unzipped. That could have been a disaster. to ruin the illusion for you guys. I feel like getting hooked in the eye today. Here, bud. You're free. You're free, cheesy bed. You're free. Adventurers in there today. Well, since I've already got it off, this is how I do it. I normally tuck my shirt in here into some pants. Kind of give myself a couple layers of protection there. I've got a good zipper that comes up and you pull your two zippers around the sides. They're cinched all the way up. Then once you get your one up, your two to the sides, I got a little Velcro strap. Straps it down, which normally will keep bees out. Hopefully I don't have a hole in the hood somewhere. That would be real sad. Anyways, for a long time I did this without a suit or anything, and it was fine. The bees are, like, as you can see, they're very docile right now. They're not aggressive at all. That one in my suit, it wasn't aggressive. It was just trying to get out, so I let it out. But there are things that the queen will do in here, like release an attack pheromone, which is pretty rare. I smell it like maybe once a season. And it's normally because I take too long doing my inspection. Man, these bees today. There you go, bud. Whew. Had some sweat running up my leg. Didn't like that. But yeah, the bees aren't very aggressive. As you can see, I just had one in my mask and one in my pants. Neither of them stung me. They were just in there. And it's just because there's 60 to 70,000 bees in here. They're going to be all over everything. But the bees right now are not aggressive or angry or anything, so it's like, it's not too urgent that I'm like, I gotta get these bees off me, you know? That is an ugly piece of comb. I'm gonna break that. So this is where they built up to the wall and they couldn't go out anymore. I'm gonna break this off for my own benefit and the bees. They don't realize it's for them, but they're not gonna be able to do anything with this. So it's smarter for them to just follow the template. So I'm gonna shake the bees off in there. Yeah, there's like barely any honey in there. And then they can just continue along and continue building. So as a beekeeper, when you're doing your normal inspections, kind of clean up and make it easier for them, because that was a whole bunch of wasted space that they wouldn't be able to use. So pretty good on our top portion. We saw 5 swarm cells on this one. None of them were full. And then there was that one random swarm cell right in the middle. So just while I'm looking, gonna give it a little scrape here. Just dress up this hive. smells really good this year. Just don't want it to start smelling like banana Laffy Taffy, because banana Laffy Taffy is not the smell of honey. It's the smell of the queen saying, "Get this guy out of my house," which is fair, because I ripped the roof off their house, so she is allowed to do that. It is her queenly duty to protect the hive. So we're gonna take this top box off. We're gonna check the second box and clean up some of this newspaper. Oh yeah, that's full of honey. Oh boy. All right. So looking at this second layer of bees, looking pretty good. I got a weird comb here that I might have to tear up. Here was that weird comb that I attached with just some twine that I had last week. Looks like, yeah, I see a couple waggle dancers in here. Don't see any defensive posturing, but I am gonna smoke the bees a little bit just to kind of get ahead of that, because this might be a slightly longer inspection if I see any weird stuff, which I know I will just because it's a new queen. So new queen, new hive, they're probably going to do some stuff that I'm like, why did you do that? I guess they didn't really want to keep this piece of honeycomb I left them with, but they did take the brood out of it, so I'm okay with that. I can take this piece off and not feel bad about it. Because I didn't want to, there were a bunch of baby bees on it last time I was messing with it, and they basically evacuated it. Looks like the holes are a little bigger, so they look like drones on this side and regular worker bees on this side. Now, I don't leave this stuff out here after my inspections. I clean it up. It's part of the movie magic. Y'all don't have to watch me do that. So there's some good pollen in there that you can see. So when you look in and you see all those colored spots, it looks kind of granuled. That's pollen, not honey. You can also tell it's pollen because it's super light compared to honey. Honey is really heavy. Really propolis this thing together. That's okay. Alright, cool. I think this was a new frame because it looks all freshly drawn out. It's kind of weird. And then this next frame over doesn't have a lot of stuff on it. Queen is working upside down, which is okay. Not a disaster. It might actually work out a little better for me. All right, we're pulling them both up. That's okay. Look out, ladies. You'll notice I'm trying to pull these up instead of like smash them onto the side, because there are bees that walk along the side. I'm trying not to squish them. This sucker is propolis on here. There we go. Alright, so got some weird comb action. They're building this beehive upside down. Don't know why they're doing that. So when I last did this inspection, this bottom one was the one that had all the bees in it, and that top one was all honey. The only thing I can think is it did get cold here for a couple days where the bees weren't really active. So maybe all the bees were up top staying warm. And then as it warmed up, the queen was like, okay, well, we've got some blank space because you guys have been eating the honey. So she started laying up there. I don't know, just one of those weird bee things. Sometimes the bees just do stuff and there's no super clear explanation for it. So I'm just kind of speculating. They propolised everything together. This bottom board. Or this bottom box. Ooh, okay, so that one's wild. This one is all drones, so ooh, and a ton of emergency cells. Okay, so there you go. Look at that. That'll give you what drones look like. So the drones, for those of you that don't know, that's the dude bees. Here's a lot of dude bees. So they stick out a little further, but they're not emergency cells because they're not facing down. And when you have an emergency cell, they'll actually start getting elongated. So this is nothing to be alarmed about. It just means the bees are healthy and they see that they have enough resources to make male bees, which are important only during certain parts of the year, but they went ahead and made them. That's okay. That's what we wanted to see. Got a healthy hive with everything in it. I need to move a little faster just because I'm taking my time today. That's okay. So, and then compared to those drone cells, you'll see these are worker cells. They're flat. Still weird patterning, but it's just been cold for a couple days, so I think the queen will go in here. She'll figure it out. She'll work her magic. I think I could see where the queen's at in that top box over there because there's a huddle of bees on the top. All right. Maybe something the bees didn't like. Don't smell bananas. I think I just dropped that frame a little too hard. In my post editing, I'll amplify it for you if I did. I just didn't realize I did it, so it's okay. Just don't just slam your frames back in here because the bees don't really like the vibration. All right. Oh boy, sorry ladies, sorry ladies, sorry ladies. Whew, that was a tight squeeze. Okay, so it's one of those ugly frames that I don't like doing this, but I am going to tear the whole thing off. So there are some brood in it, but you'll notice like it's way too far out, which means they can't work this other hive or this other frame over here, which just it's a waste of space, and it kind of sucks, but it's a good time of year for me to clean it up because they'll recover okay. I'm gonna pull this off. Look out, ladies. I'm gonna smush anybody. I'll show you all the madness that's probably on the back side of it. So they've got capped drones, a bunch of honey. I need to figure out how to help them help themselves here. And even though, like, as a beekeeper, sometimes you can let it go, but sometimes you got to get in here and just clean it up. And this is one of those times. It's unfortunate, but I'm gonna clean it up. They need to not be making an elevated comb like that. In the long run, it's gonna hurt them. So in the short run, probably not super happy that I just did that to them, but in the short term, or in the long run, it's a better move. It's still May, and I don't want to have to deal with this crazy hive every week and a half when I get out here to do my inspection, and I'm gonna eventually rip it all out, and it's just a pain. So yeah, I went ahead, I removed that piece because it was sticking out. It wasn't even on the board. You could see the only place it was even on was here, which means if I would have left it, eventually I would have pulled this, it all would have fell out in like a big clunk, and the bees really would have hated that. So now it is the game of how do I let the bees have this? This one has a little bit of honey. I know this is older beekeepers are like, I can't believe you would do that. Sorry, dude, I do what I gotta do. So I'm giving them the nectar out of this one. There's no bees on this one, so it's okay. Put it over here for my honeycomb pile. All right, and there's gonna be some dead bees on this one, and that's casualty of cleaning. And give them a little more of this nectar. Ooh, that was a drone. It's a big old bee. All right, this one's empty, except for a couple of about to. Sorry, ladies. This one's like a baby bee. He probably would have, or she would have hatched today. So I'm gonna see. Pursuit of humanitarian goodness. I'm gonna attempt to get her out of here instead of put her in the wax pile. Of course, I can't get her out of here. There we go. You can do it. You're free. Sorry, you're a day or two underdeveloped, but you're alive. Ooh, you're a drone. You're very underdeveloped. I'm sorry that I did this to you. Well, anyways, I don't need to be playing with this. It's interesting to me, but I need to go ahead and get these bees off here and finish up this inspection. So we're gonna shake the bees off, shake some of the honey and nectar out because they'll clean it up. And then there's a couple, there are some brood. That's a bummer. That is a bummer that I had to do that, but well, what do you do? So this one is blank because the other frame was so close to it, they couldn't do anything, which another problem is they could have ended up fusing these two frames together, which is an even bigger pain. And it might seem like I'm being cruel, but you have to do these inspections because you'll never notice if your bees are sick. You won't notice if like your queen is dead, like I noticed 2 weeks ago. That other one, the queen wasn't in there. You've gotta do your inspections and make sure everything is good to go. So this is the last frame, which is good because the bees are all starting to look at me, which means they're about to get a little temperamental. And that's okay. I've been in their house for probably half an hour now, so it's about time for me to be done. What do we got on this one? This is very yellow comb. Whoa, 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 whoa. There's a ball of bees rolling around. Alright, this one, all honey and pollen. Good. Capped honey and pollen. Good. Alright. Let's put this hive back together and then we'll move on from Beyonce to RBG. The notorious RBG. And you don't want to keep the frames out of the hive too long because the bees do have to regulate those the cap brood temperatures. If you keep them out too long, they'll come out deformed and kind of messed up. So we don't want that. A lot of bees over here on this side is where they were working, I guess. All right. So I do have a decision to make. Do I want to flip the hive to make it back the way it's supposed to? And I don't think I'm gonna. I think I'm just gonna let the bees do their thing. I'm gonna close it up and check them again in a few weeks. So they're doing good. Like I said before, I don't think I'll get any honey from these guys, and now that I've looked in here, yeah, I might get some fall honey out of them, but I don't think I'll get spring honey, because this honey, I'm gonna let them keep. Whew, that was heavy. So, in an attempt to be nice to my bees, I'm gonna try and get some more of this paper off of here. All right, ladies, look out, look out. This might not be the best way to do it, but I try and leave these comb out here for a little bit, let the bees take what they can off of it, and also let the bees get back to their home, because it's right next to them. I don't want to walk back to my house with this if it's nurse bees or something. So there's a lot of honey on this one. You'll probably see a lot of bees coming over, taking the honey, putting it back in the beehive, and that's fine with me. Out, ladies. All right, flat part down when you're putting your moisture shield on. Whew, scared me. I had another thing of sweat going up my leg. Look out, get out of there. There you go, bud. Whew, I gotta do something about that. I haven't had bees crawling up my pants all year, and now I've had 2 in one day. Must just be a bad pair of pants. All right, so all in all, that was a great inspection. Kind of weird how the bees had flipped around, how they're doing things, but everything was fine. Just kind of weird bee stuff, but nothing was wrong. I didn't see any sickness, didn't see any pests. There was a good amount of pollen, there was a good amount of honey, and up top slam packed with brood. So that means queen's still doing good. She's making a lot of bees. They're good to go. When I looked at the swarm cells, None of the swarm cells had eggs in them. None of them had larvae, which also means none of them were capped. So that means by the time I get out here, even if they started messing with them today, by my 10-day inspection, 10 days from now, it would just be in the beginning stages where there might be a larva in there. And that gives me enough time to react to it. That's why you're supposed to do your inspections every 10-ish days. We've had a little bit of cold weather, so it's been just kind of weird, but overall, I think it's going to be okay. So, all right, let's move on over to RBG. And then when you do these ones, basically you can kind of rush through where the supers are at. You'll kind of look for pests, and that's about it. So it's pretty easy. And then all the magic and stuff you got to really look for is down in the bottom. So these guys have not swarmed this year. So I do need to look for any swarming indications or any swarming activity. Right. Slowly pulling out wax on this one. So I don't really have to pull every single frame out, because I can look through the top and see that they're just now pulling out the wax. I'm gonna actually try and show you guys what I'm seeing to help you with your inspection. So you'll look up, you'll kind of look at an angle, and you'll look through, and you'll be able to see some of the wax is starting to be pulled out by the bees, which means they're just making honeycomb. Then once you get across, you go, okay, let me look again on the other side. And then if you see a massing of bees, which I see it, it's on here somewhere. It's right in here. Where's this camera at? Is it here? There it is. Yeah, so I look down in here and I go, okay, there are some bees, but it looks like normal bee stuff. So I'm gonna just put this back over here, and I can remove that super and look at the next one. And the next one should start having some capped honey. I can kind of rush through that one as well. And then the magic, like I said, is in the bottom with RBG. I got some wild peas over there. Neat. All right. Scrolls down. Look through here. They have drawn out honey to here, which again, I can see it from the top. So there's nothing I really have to worry about too much. So you just look from the side. You look from the side. You can see everything you need to see basically from the top. So I'll pull out 1 or 2 frames of these guys on the super just to make sure that it's not riddled with pests or something like that, because I don't want to be like, oh, they're good, and really they're not fine. You know, they're fine, but really you're not fine. So I'm looking through. Yep, they're all eyeballing me, which is a good sign of their alertness. So they're just doing normal bee stuff. I'm gonna pull out this brick of honey. This is a good one. This is gonna be a good one. I can feel it. Boop. Yeah, good brick of honey. I knew it would be. I could see it. So look at that. That's what you want to see. That is liquid gold right there. This is about 3 or 4 jars of honey. 3. 2 or 3 jars of honey. But it is heavy. It's good. 6 or 7 pounds of, well, if it's 6 or 7, it'd be 6 or 7 jars of honey. But yeah, maybe I'm just bad at weighing stuff. I like 50s, so it's kind of hard to like scale it down, you know? Did I smell it? No, okay. I thought she had released the command for a second, but I'm fine. So looked at that one, it's good. I'm gonna go over here to one of the furthest ones over here, just check it out, make sure nothing's on this side. But that one was so healthy looking, it lets me know these guys are doing great. So I'm looking down, looking at the bees. I'm not seeing any varroa mites. I'm not seeing any hive beetles. I'm not seeing any wax moth activity. The wax moth activity I would see on here. Yeah, another great brick of honey. Love that. All right, cool. Great job, ladies. Great job. Great job. Little pats for you. You did a good job. Don't pat the bees. They don't like it. See, they're on me. Didn't like that. All right, so some of these bees are getting a little testy. I'm gonna go ahead and give them some anti-testy here. There we go. Little anti-tested. Good on this. This is gonna be heavy, and this is low-key the reason I work out. So just to look like I can manhandle these hives on YouTube for you guys. Now, I just hate not being able to deal with them. They are heavy. Whew. All right, so queen excluder removed. Banana Laffy Taffy released. Shit. Okay, maybe not. Maybe it was a false alarm, but I swear I'm smelling hints of it somewhere in there. It might just be some weird pollen they're pulling in or something. So you don't want to smoke them too much because they also breathe oxygen. So you don't want to kill your bees. So I see some really ugly comb here. That means I'm gonna have to cut it up like I did over there. But really I'm just gonna pop these couple over here out, see if I see any swarm cells. I do. Oh, get off of there. Is that a whole capped swarm cell? Get off of that. All right, I got one swarm cell all peanutted out. It is not capped, but I do think there is a larva in it. So let's see if I see any more swarm cells. Don't. Now this inspection is turned into chaos. Chaos. Okay. So if I see any drawn out or capped, well, I hope I don't see any capped. That means I should have inspected these yesterday, which has been the story of my year, you know. But if we see any capped, I need to be a little more thorough, look for the queen. And wherever the queen is means she's going somewhere else. That is a brick of brood, very healthy. See a couple new bees hatching out. What else do I see in here? No eggs. So, what I'm looking for now is eggs. So, if there are no eggs in here, and there's no queen in here, she died. Which, it was her time to go. Queens only last 2, maybe 3 years. I've had this queen for 2 or 3 years. So, as you can see, I dropped that frame a little too hard. They did not like the vibration. Now they're telling me those are not good vibrations. So I'm going to see some good vibrations. Maybe. I don't remember how the song starts. Some Beach Boys. Da 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 da. She's giving me good vibrations. Wow, this sucker is really in there. There we go. Feels like mostly honey. see cap brood. I see a varroa mite too. Fuck you, varroa mite. Alright, I am gonna attempt to show you this varroa mite. Right on that bee, right there. It's on his back. You can see it. Everything is fine, ladies. No reason to be testy with me. Pulling my pants down just in case. So I really don't want to break off from this inspection in the middle of it to fix my headdress or my veil, I guess is what it's actually called. My veil or my pants. Okay, this one's a solid brick of brood. That's good. I knocked open some honey. I am not seeing any eggs. So that's not good. But hopefully that means they're using that emergency cell to make a new queen. And that is okay. That's what they're supposed to do. I'm surprised they're only making one queen, but they're making a queen. I don't think 3 frames over here with eggs in them would even make me feel real good right now. Okay, yeah. There's a bunch of swarm cells there. Alright, what do we got? They've got swarm cells. Interesting. When did this happen? So, you'll notice, got a bunch of swarm cells here. They've all got the ends of them torn off, which means the queens would normally already be fighting for who is the new queen, but I haven't seen a single queen in this inspection. Now I'm kind of nervous about even doing this inspection. There's no larvae in there. They're not about to close these. The queen has already been hatched. When did this happen? I inspected this May 6th today. My last inspection was April 22nd. Man, they would have had to have made those the day I did my inspection, which this was a healthy hive then. Also, this is a whole brick of honey. I shouldn't even try to pick it up, but I'm already in it, so I'm picking it up. Good vibration. I don't know the words. Sorry, ladies. I don't know the words. Don't hate me. Alright, yeah, that was all honey, no eggs. All gas, no brick. So, keep that. And this next one, I can see it, was capped honey. So I'm going to close these girls up. I'm going to let them do their thing. They're looking not very happy right now. Could be because they've got queens in there killing each other, doing queen stuff. So I'm gonna close them up. We're just gonna have to figure out what conclusion we get from this mess next week. Want the queen excluder back on there. If they were not so strong, I would take this super off and make it where they could consolidate a little better. This is a very healthy hive. So I did see, there's one hive beetle up here in the corner, but it's not an infestation. Oh yeah, that queen, get that hive beetle, heck yeah. Don't even have to mess with that. These bees are doing very well. Oh, another hive beetle, that is 2 hive beetles, 3 hive beetles, 4 hive beetles. Not uncommon for them to be on the roof. If there were more hive beetles, I would be concerned. But 4. Let's go ahead and close these ladies up. So to summarize, drawing out the wax, full blocks of honey, which is great. That means I can harvest the whole thing. Down in the bottom, a little bit of general disarray. So I noticed about here that there was one random swarm cell in the middle. The way it was angled, I couldn't see into the bottom of it. But as I was going across, I didn't see any eggs, which means the queen has not been active in here in the last couple days, about a week. So I didn't see any eggs, but then as I kept going, I didn't see any larvae. So no larva means the queen hasn't been active in here for about a week and a half, 2 weeks. That's not good. That means you don't have a queen. So the bees dealt with it themselves, probably. So I was in here last week. I did not see that swarm cell, and I did not see that swarm cell, because there were 4 swarm cells on this one. They had all been opened up, which indicated at least one queen hatched and probably went through and killed the other ones. So it takes a couple weeks for the hive to kind of regulate itself. The queen has to grow all the way, hatch out. She does a maiden flight somewhere, gets knocked up about 20 times, and then comes back in here, starts pumping out eggs. I didn't see any eggs, didn't see any larvae. So the queen is somewhere in that step. And I decided to just go ahead, close it up, let nature do its thing. And when I do an inspection in 2 weeks, week and a half, that's when I'll really worry about it. If I don't see any queen activity at that point, then I'll be really concerned. It is a bummer, but it looks like the queen probably died of old age, and then the new queen is just doing its normal queen stuff. Actually, I know that the queen just did a maiden flight, because now that I'm looking, there's a bunch of drones on the ground, which means they just finished impregnating the queen. So let me show you what I'm seeing. So you see this? There's some bees all on the ground, and they're all having a hard time flying. So when the males impregnate the queen, so that is a male, that is a male, that is a male, that is a male, and that is a male. And I saw another male too. But when the bees are out here doing that, when the males do that, the way that their anatomy works, they got a front stinger. They don't have a back stinger. So their front stinger, they use that to impregnate the queen. when they do that, actually it blows up. So pretty metal, bees are pretty metal like that, and the males will die. So that lets me know with so many males, outside of the hive, but also on the ground, that means they all just have done the maiden flight with the queen. So I should have a new queen in a couple of days. Not as alarming, kind of a weird thing to walk out and see. But yeah, that's where we're at. So did my inspection, drawing out the wax full of honey, probably about to get a new queen in the next couple days. RBG2, bigger, faster, stronger, did Beyonce's thing. They've got a new queen. I saw her last week. She was looking real healthy. They're building the hive upside down. That's okay. I'm gonna let nature deal with itself. And you'll notice that the bees are defense posturing. They're just bouncing off my mask. They're telling me, hey buddy, it's time for you to get out of here. So I don't want any of these bees to Sudoku themselves. I don't want them to sting me and die. So I'm gonna get out of here, but I hope you guys enjoyed the inspection today. Kind of a weird thing to see, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.